This is the CHRILLCAST. I am Chris.
And I'm Will.
I'm Skyrionn.
And I'm WiseFish.
Mr. 00. Uh-oh. We're freeze framing.
Mm-hmm.
That's Installation00 below me. How about you guys tell everybody about your channels?
I'm Skyrionn and I make timeline and lore videos. I'm most well known for covering Fable, but I'm moving on to Dragon Age soon. That'll be fun.
Ooh, looking forward to that. How about Mr.
Yeah,
WiseFish?
I'm WiseFish and I make reviews as well as new lore videos on Fallout, Metro, Bioshock, Apex, and some other games I'm planning. And yeah, I do live streams as well that I keep forgetting to mention. So yeah, that's me.
And then we have Installation00. What's your channel all about?
Mainly Halo. I'm most well known for my most detailed breakdowns where we go to some level of detail on everything.
He's a robot, confirmed.
Oh dear.
Yeah, he turned into the Guilty Spark finally. So sorry about that, guys. Installation00's got a great channel for Halo. If you guys like Halo lore, definitely go check him out. Worth your time by far, and his narration is like one of the best in the Halo community. So there's that. So as always, this is our what, Will?
It's a Manic Monday. Oh, I'm trying to whisper in your ear.
Manic Monday.
I can't take it seriously.
Oh no.
Manic Monday.
There we go.
That was good.
So we're going to be talking about the Ubisoft rumors, the new Xbox update, and the Microsoft 2020 Xbox stuff. So before we get into that, that was the preview, if anybody was wondering. What... Well, actually, no, we already did the intros, didn't we? So we're going to be talking about Ubisoft rumor first. So the Ubisoft rumor is that there is potentially coming to Game Pass Ubisoft games, the Ubisoft subscription service, which I can't actually remember the name of because I've never had it, but
Upass.
Okay, yeah, Uplay. That's right, Uplay. Could be potentially coming to Game Pass in the similar fashion to what EA Play did. Or EA, was it Origin, EA Play? I don't remember, whatever it is.
EA Play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we could be getting a bunch of Ubisoft games. How do you guys feel about that?
Excited.
Microsoft's killing it.
Yeah. It's great.
Come
Why not?
like dedicated over to the Xbox.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty
Yeah.
sweet.
Microsoft
it
is
comes
going to
to
buy the
PC as
industry.
I mean,
I
realistically,
think like Microsoft are making a lot of effort to get a lot of the big brands sort of folded into into their sort of franchise, and then with their push again, I mean, it makes a lot of sense that past both Xbox and PC makes sense that all of these new games are going to be available for PC as well as Xbox.
Yeah, I actually heard someone talking about like what Microsoft's big game is with Game Pass, and they're saying like they're gonna essentially either buy or make deals with all of the major publishers to have all their games. Stop covering up, Chris. And basically, they're gonna be able to get it onto PlayStation then, because PlayStation's gonna have to accept like all of the games are in Game Pass and people want to play it. So they might be able to get Game Pass onto more systems that way.
I've got an alternative view, Will, to that. I think actually what's happening is you're seeing a consolidation of genres to specific platforms. For example, Final Fantasy 16 is only coming to PlayStation right out the initial gate. So what you're seeing is a lot of these Japanese companies and a lot of these Japanese JRPG style games are coming to Nintendo and Sony, but not Microsoft. And then you've got, for example, the Bethesda situation, EA, and now Ubisoft potentially going. You could have all of the Western style games coming to the Xbox, mostly exclusively, or at least exclusively to the Game Pass service, not on PS Now. And instead, on the Japanese side, you would see a lot of the Japanese developers like Sega. Maybe Sega starts putting more stuff on PlayStation, which they already kind of are. And you got like Square Enix putting stuff on PlayStation first. You could end up with a divided platform exclusivity, like Nintendo. Nintendo's got their first party RPs, right? But then they've got other stuff, and then a lot of Japanese studios going to the PlayStation first or exclusively to the PlayStation, and then a lot of Western stuff going to Microsoft. In which case, you got to choose your pillar of the gaming community. Do you want to be into JRPGs on the PlayStation? Do you want to be onto Western games on the Xbox and shooters. It could just go on all three, obviously, but or you're a Nintendo guy and you get the Switch. You know, I think that's what we're seeing right now. It's the division of genres.
I think Microsoft is going to buy Sony, but
Yeah, at this rate, they might as well just buy everyone that have a monopoly. So.
yes.
I just feel like as long as
I know,
everyone
'cause then Microsoft will ultimately be bought by Disney, won't they?
yeah, that's it.
Might get a good Star Wars game finally.
Well, we'll see.
So yeah, that's a rumor though. That could be Ubisoft coming to Game Pass, which would be neat. I think
That'd
personally.
be really cool.
That would be.
But we will be discussing more about the Game Pass effect on Friday. So preview for that. The other thing that we're going to talk about really quickly is that the new Xbox update for all Xbox One to Xbox Series X consoles adds the compatibility with the Xbox headset, removes the live TV, Mr. Don Matrick's long-lasting legacy there. From the One guy, it also adds a toggle for auto HDR, an FPS boost per game, and backwards compatible program. Yeah, it's really cool actually. And on top of all that, apparently it adds a new web browser that can run Stadia within the browser, which is an update in preparation for xCloud.
All three people will be really happy for that.
Yeah.
We got another freeze frame for Mr. 00 here. What we might have to do is have you pause your video.
Because I'm running on low band.
We'll just
I don't know what you said. Installation. Sorry.
Yeah, Installation00. Today he's on his mobile phone, so we're just going to roll with it. We'll see how it goes, and yeah. Okay, so back onto that update. What do you guys think about this update to Xbox?
I don't know. They just keep winning. Like I keep saying, like they keep adding new features. The FPS boost is awesome. I didn't understand what was at first. I thought they meant first-person shooter boost, but it's literally just some magic that they make to boost the frame rate in these backwards compatible games, and it's free. It's just I don't know. They just clearly there's a new culture there at Xbox where they actually care about the fans again, and it is really nice to see.
Yeah, I was playing Morrowind the other day on it, and it was weird just playing it so smooth because I remember playing it back in the original Xbox days, and it was so like jumpy and stuff like that. But it was so weird playing this really old game with such a smooth frame rate. It was like I was playing on PC, really. It was really nice to play that game again.
Have you guys had a chance to play with the xCloud yet?
No, I haven't.
No. I played it when it was in the beta, but now I've got an iPhone. I can't play it anymore. So,
is there a lot of delay on it?
No, it was really good.
Yeah, I'm quite impressed. I've got like a jig and everything for it. Obviously, it becomes compatible with the Xbox Series X controller, and yeah, I'm stunned by how low.
Yeah, I mean, to be entirely honest here, the thing that was really surprising about the update was when they put the wireless headset in. I think it was in either Italy or Spain, and they had the update for VR headset on that came up. It was just like a translation issue, and everybody's like, "Oh, Microsoft's bringing out the VR." Nope, not happening. But that would have been
surprised
cool.
They haven't announced one yet, though. I think, well, maybe in the future they will, but maybe one more VR games come out. But I think they should get all the accessories for Xbox. I think that'd be fantastic.
Right.
I'd love to see an Xbox VR.
Yeah, that'd be great. Well, PlayStation's got a new one coming out, so why not Xbox?
Exactly.
Well, how long has Microsoft been working with the HoloLens?
It's been a long
That's
time,
true.
right? Like a
Yeah.
decade almost.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's
think
see.
that-
Been with that yet?
HoloLens.
Was that Microsoft? I thought it was Google.
No, they did Google Glass. Totally different.
Oh, yeah.
HoloLens too.
Oh, they got a second one.
What?
Where'd the first one go?
When did they start the HoloLens 2? I'm curious now because the Kinect, they released a new Kinect that $3,500. Holy crap!
Oh yeah, affordable.
Well, I mean, if you're an industrial business, like say, I don't know, Amazon would never do it, but a company like Amazon could use something like this to help their employees find stuff easier, you know?
Oh, yeah, but what company is going to pay 3,500 per employee? That's madness.
Microsoft. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, the ones testing it.
Here's your HoloLens. Have a nice day. Let's see here. You can actually physically be in the office without being in the office while you wear a HoloLens at your desk at your house.
Imagine that would be weird.
Yeah, probably. I think Will's frozen.
Oh. It's not a
Two
good day
down.
for internet, is it?
2 down, 3 to go.
Let me tap him. See what happens here. I think we lost him.
Yeah. That person's broken through his front door and taken his internet.
Yeah, probably.
Oh.
All right, guys, let's keep going here. Rest in peace, Will. We'll find out what happened to him in a little bit. So the last thing is, how do you guys feel about the Microsoft acquisition about Bethesda? And now that we know for a fact that the there's going to be some exclusivity with Bethesda and Microsoft, how does that make you guys feel about the industry as a whole, given the acquisition?
Okay, so I've never been one of those people that is into the console wars thing, but within my friend group, it's always been one of those, oh, we've got The Last of Us, you don't have that, and it hurts. But now that Xbox has got Bethesda, if we could potentially get the Elder Scrolls 6 as an exclusive, that would be something nice to throw back, or Starfield. And again, if Bethesda, Xbox have taken over it, then they must have more money to fund it, and I'm hoping we get better games from it.
100%. That would be nice. I do hope that, given that, we do get better games from Bethesda and Microsoft as a whole. Okay, so we were talking about Microsoft, Bethesda. Skyrionn had a really nice little conversation with himself, because nobody else was talking at the time, about exclusivity, console wars, etc., etc. And essentially what you're saying, if I'm summarizing correctly, was that you've never been into the console wars, but you think it's great that Bethesda has been acquired and could potentially produce better games under the Microsoft, the big money Microsoft, right?
Absolutely. And with that, Bethesda are well known for the fact that their games are buggy, but now they're going to be held accountable by Microsoft. So
right.
I feel like that should be a benefit. Although I'd like them to put some bugs in anyway. Just, you know, the one with the giants in Skyrim where they smack the player, they fling into the air.
Right.
I like stuff like that.
The best bug.
The best. Exactly.
Bethesda bug, is that what I heard?
Bethesda bug, yeah.
Well, that's what we're going to call it now.
Yeah.
Bethesda bug. That's funny. Given that they have had kind of a pretty successful run with these acquisitions, nobody's really fighting Microsoft saying that you shouldn't be doing these acquisitions, at least not mainstream. What other potential acquisitions do you guys see on the table for Microsoft?
Sega.
Is that WiseFish said Sega?
Yeah, Sega. I think they've dropped so many rumors, like little hints that they're going to pick up Sega. I just feel like it will be one day.
So I've spoken to, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Adam Korlick, but he's kind of intermingled with Sega quite a bit, but he is a content creator on YouTube. He's been on our channel quite a bit, helps Sega out with a lot of their anniversary celebrations. So he's pretty close with Sega. And I've talked to him about that at length, kind of in the background. And essentially what it comes down to is, I do believe a sale or acquisition of Sega would require the permission of the Japanese government. And it's very unlikely that Sega would get the permission to be sold to Microsoft. Japan is very close to the heart with their companies, and the likelihood Japan would allow one of them to part with the Japanese economy is very low.
I'm surprised to hear that.
So yeah, basically, I think all acquisitions of that type would have to go through government regulation in Japan. So I think EA or a company like that would be more likely, or Ubisoft.
I can't see them buying EA. I just can't see EA giving up their. I feel like they're too big of a company for Xbox or Microsoft to buy them. I mean, if Bethesda's getting 7.5 billion, EA is going to want more than that.
Yeah.
Same as like, well, no, Activision are Sony based anyway. So, but I just can't see Microsoft having more than 7.5 billion for EA. I think EA are just happy with having their subscription service as part of the Xbox Pass. But I mean, I could be wrong.
I'm massively distracted by Will.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a freeze frame. I don't think he's coming back. Says computer's totally shot. So
Oh.
said, you guys are all awesome. He texted me and said, hey, I just have to hop off for now because I can't get my computer to come back. So it's unlikely he'll be back today until he gets a new computer or he gets that fixed. So we'll see. And yeah, so that's that. So it'll be just the four of us for the rest of the podcast. But Will said, thank you for coming on, and he's really enjoyed this. So bye, Will. Sorry, Will. You can be with us in spirit in the bottom corner over here. Anyways, what were you going to say, Mr. 00? My apologies.
I just said I'm massively distracted by Will like being sat in the center of the screen, staring like passively at what's going on.
It's judging us,
right? So I think EA makes sense if Microsoft can pony up the money for it. They're an American-based company. It'd be easy to acquire because they are an American-based company, unlike Sega. Now, if they were to acquire like the American branch of Sega and somehow work that out, maybe I don't know. I would love to see some of the Sega franchises come to Xbox. I mean, we saw Yakuza come to Xbox, which was really cool, and all of them are basically on Game Pass at this point, which is also very cool. But I just don't see it happening based on what I've already said, which is essentially that it would require too much government cooperation from Japan, and I don't think it's going to happen. So EA makes sense.
Yeah, there's some difficult trading laws and things like that in regards to Japan. I know China's sort of locked up quite tight like that as well. So yeah, acquiring Sega, while it would be good, I think it's relatively unlikely. EA would be cool, but I think they're just maybe a bit too big. And aside from that, I mean, what other sort of smaller studios are there that would be applicable to sort of what Microsoft are driving at the moment?
They could reacquire Bungie.
Bungie has stated they're not doing that because they're becoming their own publisher.
I know.
I can't imagine. Imagine if they did though. It would be like, oh, okay, just gone back.
Oh,
on
yeah.
their word then.
Full circle. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just start there again. Go to EA or something.
I mean, Activision's there, but I sincerely doubt Activision is on the table.
Their PlayStation locks and like every Call of Duty's got a PlayStation thing locked to it. I'd be shocked if Activision Blizzard went to Xbox, honestly.
They could buy maybe divisions of EA. Maybe they could pick up BioWare and all of BioWare's franchises.
Oh, I wish someone would.
I'd like that.
Full company.
So in the grand scheme of things, Microsoft is an extreme company and money talks. And if there's enough money fronted up, I suppose anybody could potentially be played.
True.
Yeah,
True.
absolutely.
I just can't imagine more money from Microsoft, like 7.5 billion for Bethesda. I feel like that's their big purchase. I can't see another one. That would just be insane. I can imagine PlayStation doing a big one to follow up from this. Like
Konami,
Rockstar,
probably.
maybe. Oh yeah.
But then in the same breath, they wouldn't have dropped 7.5 billion if they didn't think they could turn a profit.
True.
Exactly.
And that was something I was going to say. That's my one worry about this Bethesda acquisition, because ZeniMax, you got Elder Scrolls Online. That's a very money hungry game, I find. And then you got the mobile games as well. They're very money hungry. My one worry for Microsoft is we haven't really seen many of their exclusive games that haven't had like microtransactions. I mean, Forza Horizon, Gears 5 was awful in terms of microtransactions. My one worry is that Bethesda will continue on with like the Fallout 76 microtransactions and stuff. That's the only worry I've got, is that it's a lot of money. They've got to make that back. Bethesda's got IPs that have got microtransactions in them that they can continue pumping out. But we'll have to see, I guess.
Well, just imagine when the Elder Scrolls 6 is announced or comes out. There's a whole new generation since the last one was released. So just imagine the profit they're going to make from people buying Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim all over again. If you don't already have it, people want to, like, people get invested. There'll be merch. They can make so much money from Elder Scrolls 6 just on the backlog of the previous Elder Scrolls games.
That is true.
Yeah.
I do also see that if Microsoft were to acquire too many studios, then you'll have too much internal competition for. For example, let's say a game launches on Game Pass and it launches against another game on Game Pass. You're going to be seeing internal competition over which game on Game Pass is getting more users to play it, and then Microsoft will have to weigh their options. Which of these games is the app for Game Pass that's going to continue to bring people to Game Pass, right? So that's the topic we're going to be talking about more on Friday. But I think Game Pass and internal competition, if you have too many studios under one belt, could be a problem.
Well, I think the benefit of Microsoft owning all of these studios is they can choose when the games are released now. Instead of them being independent studios when they set their own dates, Microsoft can be strategic on when they do release these games. That could kind of benefit them.
That's a good point. Yeah, they're not fighting each other for a release date.
As long as they don't do an EA where they release Titanfall and then Battlefield straight after, and it just completely ruined the whole Titanfall game, then that's fine.
There was some strategy behind that, though. I heard some rumors that EA launched those two games side by side so that it would tank the publisher of Titanfall low enough for them to purchase and acquire that studio.
It wouldn't surprise me, to be honest. But they didn't. I don't think I think they're still sort of partially owned. I can't remember their agreement, but yeah,
fair enough.
It was definitely a tactic.
Do you think Microsoft would buy Square Enix?
I know they worked together on Tomb Raider, but with Final Fantasy never really being a mainstream game on the Xbox, I don't know. Especially with Sony ponying up the money for Final Fantasy 16 to be a Sony exclusive, I can't see it. I mean, maybe they would buy Crystal Dynamics or what is it, Eido Studios or Eidos, whatever you want to call it, the team that made Tomb Raider. I could see that being an acquisition for Microsoft, but Square Enix as a whole, the closest thing we've gotten to a new Square Enix game on Xbox is Octopath Travelers coming to Xbox and PC, which I am looking forward to, and it's coming to that before the PlayStation, believe it or not. So that's cool, but I just don't see it. I don't think that Microsoft would benefit enough from Square Enix as a whole.
I think the thing is that Square Enix won't just look at the money there. They'll be like, well, Microsoft, you haven't proven yourself in the Asian markets.
Right.
And Square Enix is huge over there.
Yeah.
And Microsoft really, I mean, they cancelled the one game that was showing big popularity over in the Asian community. I can't remember what it was called. It's like the big dragon
Soulbound. Or Scalebound. Scalebound.
Yeah, Scalebound. That was like really hyped over there, and then they cancelled it. It's like, oh well. So I just imagine Square Enix will just stick to Sony, honestly, no matter how much money Microsoft offer them. They know they've got the market.
Kind of a similar reason for Sega too, though. Like Sega games do better on the Xbox as a Xbox console than other Japanese studios games do. But overall, yeah, Microsoft isn't really known as a JRPG or a Japanese market console. So like most Japanese and Asian devs work on other consoles first, with Microsoft kind of being the background for them.
Yeah, basically.
So I guess the last thing I was going to say, an acquisition I would have loved to have seen, and you guys can all jump in with an acquisition you would have liked to have seen in the past. I wish they would have picked up Telltale, because imagine the kind of Halo Telltale game we could have seen if Microsoft owned Telltale and could have shaped that.
Telltale was a really interesting one. I really loved the Walking Dead game, but the problem was they just kept churning them out. It was like one after the other, and it was like, oh god, like you had a Borderlands one, and then you had a Walking Dead season 4 or whatever it was, and then there was just so many that after a while it just lost its charm. But it's a shame they just went under. Yeah,
it's that classic like quality quantity argument, isn't it?
Yeah, Yeah, exactly.
Like
It's a
under
shame went
Microsoft,
under.
they could have under Microsoft continued to produce quality games at a slower rate. But I think the best games they produced were the Walking Dead games. Tales from the Borderlands was epic. That was a great Telltale game. And then I really liked what they were doing with Wolf Among Us, but they
Yeah,
never
that was good.
released the second one.
Yeah, I know, and everyone was asking for it, and then they went under, and it was like, oh, great, thanks for that.
Exactly.
It is a shame they went under, but again, it was just mismanagement, really.
100%. Is there a dev that you wish they would have rescued and or acquired over the years that they haven't?
The Dead Space team need.
Yeah.
I feel so bad for them. EA just chucked them under the bus.
Is that Visceral?
Visceral, yeah. That's it.
The Google Stadia plucked up the CEO from them, and then they just dissolved that, and now the head of Visceral is working with Sony on a new IP. That's a brand new thing.
Oh yeah, that looks pretty good actually.
Yeah. Sorry.
How about Saber Interactive?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Good.
They did the Halo 2 anniversary, right?
Yeah, they played a part in it, yeah.
And then underneath them, they actually just acquired what's that? Asper Media. Asper Media does the KOTOR ports for Steam and mobile phones, and the Pod Racer port to the Switch. A lot of Star Wars ports and Star Wars remasters have been done through Asper Media. Saber owns them now, so that would be a really cool purchase because they could help them do things with the KOTOR games. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I think the one thing I'll say though, and that's sort of like my final point on it, is that I love that they're, well, I mean, I'm sort of on the fence about them buying stuff. I think it's cool that they're buying stuff, but at the same time, I want to see these things in action. Like, for example, Senua's Sacrifice, they bought that ages ago, and I still don't know where the second game's coming. Cuphead, that got bought. It's still not on Game Pass, and I no idea where anything's going on with that IP. I just want to see stuff now. Like, I'm happy that they're buying stuff, but I want to see the games that are coming out of it, really.
Oh, for the
Maybe
record,
it's just me being impatient.
Microsoft doesn't own Cuphead, for the record. They heavily invested in the Cuphead development, and they helped make that game happen. But there's a reason why Cuphead was allowed to go to the Switch and also allowed to go to PlayStation, and it's because Studio MDHR is still independent to Microsoft, as far as I understand it.
Oh, I thought they got bought out.
No, I don't believe so. They were heavily funded by Microsoft, but I don't think Microsoft owns them. So I could be wrong, but I don't believe that they're owned by Microsoft.
But still, I just feel like it's one game that was so popular and it's just been sort of left, and maybe that's the studio.
They're just a slow, very, very slow process when they make their games, and that's by design because all of their stuff is hand-drawn animation, so that takes a very long time to produce.
Of course.
So
I don't know if the expansion they announced was out though.
I don't think so yet. It's been delayed several times, I believe.
Well,
anyway, same with the original game. It was delayed a bunch.
But I still mean like they've bought all these things. I just want to see games now.
Right.
I want to see these purchases actually produce something. So Senua's Sacrifice 2 would be the first that I'd want to see. Like, we got the trailers, but I want to see it in action, really.
Yeah. Anything else you guys want to say about the Bethesda acquisition and all that?
No,
I'm just looking forward to some more Doom.
Yeah,
More
I'm
Doom.
looking forward to Elseworlds 6.
Doom guy and Halo. Halo multiplayer. I'd love to see that. But yeah. That's all I've got. As always, I'm Chris.
Nice.
I'm Will.
I'm Skyrionn.
I'm WiseFish.
And that's Installation00. And we will see you on the next CHRILLCAST. Bye, guys.